Worst restaurants for a first date.
Mm.
Worst places for a first date. Applebee's, Chili's, Olive Garden, Buffalo Wild Wings, Red Lobster, and the Cheesecake Factory.
What? See?
But this was published October 29th, 2023. So they gassing right now.
Yeah.
You know, they gassing off of this shit.
Now, okay, wait. Say that list again.
Hold on.
I know you said Applebee's, Chili's.
Yeah, Chili's. Okay, here's an extended list. Number one, I don't know if this. See, they putting cheesecake like, bro. They got Cheesecake Factory number 1 and Waffle House number 27. Like,
cause you better not take me to no Waffle.
Hopefully, this ain't nothing in order, but y'all gotta stop with this.
Now that I'm gonna draw the line right there. Don't you pull up at no Waffle House? But I'm not gonna be disrespectful about it. I'm like, would you mind if we go somewhere else? It ain't gotta be nowhere expensive, but would you mind if we go somewhere else?
Welcome in, everybody. Fuller's Corner Podcast, where we give experience, not advice. The best advice comes from experience. It's been a little minute.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. We plan on going at it harder. So, we needed just a little bit of break a little bit of a break to breathe, and we'll just keep on going. Things have been slowing up a little bit, but that doesn't mean that you stop. You got to keep going. If you want something, you just got to keep going.
Facts.
Yep. So the lovely wife came up with the topic today. I'll let her have the floor.
So I thought a good conversation would be the difference between, or to know that there's a difference between changing and growing within a relationship and allowing somebody to change you in order to keep a relationship. Because there's a difference. Now, what do I mean by that? If you with somebody and you feel like who you are isn't good enough or what they really want in somebody, and you start trying to force yourself to change to be the person you think they want, that's not healthy and that's not okay. Now, I can say us 14 years later, yes, we have grown in our relationship. We have matured in our relationship, which is a difference, because if you first of all, you should be growing and changing as a human being, period. But when you're in a relationship, your goal is to, yes, grow and change, but also grow together, not grow in separate directions. Now, I can say when you're younger, it's easy to feel like the person you are with wants certain things and try to force yourself into that box. Because I can say when we were younger, I felt like I did that sometimes, but because I didn't fully know who I was. So I was like, okay. And then communication plays a big part of it. Like, oh, I think this is what he may want or he may like, so let me do this or do that.
So to sum up, what you're basically getting at is just some people want to change versus some people force themselves to change, and it comes off basically unauthentic, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and then that's you're gonna end up miserable because you're not being who you really are or who you want to be. You being who this other person wants you to be.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's a tough one. I mean, even us, we're still learning each other, even later on in life, and it's always a hurdle, but the thing is that it'll never be what you ideally have in your head,
Yeah.
regardless whether you trying to change or you are just genuinely just letting it happen, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Either way, it's not going to be what you ideally, have in your head. So,
Or even to you try to mimic what you see on TV or what you feel like the next person is doing. Like, I can say when I was younger, I grew up watching the Brady Bunch and the Cosby Show and stuff like that. So when you're young and you see these things on TV, you feel like that's the way it's supposed to be. Like the husband is supposed to do certain things, the wife is supposed to do certain things, or you're supposed to be a certain way towards each other. So you kind of try to force yourself to mimic that when that's not really who you are. You know what I mean? And that's just gonna cause resentment. I feel like maybe not even towards your spouse, but you will start to resent yourself for trying to really be something that you're not because you feel like that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one thing that can be like the ultimate, I mean, I don't want to say equalizer. It can be, but of course there's no ultimate equalizer in a relationship. But I just feel like when it comes to it, like it's like I heard a couple on YouTube, it was this bodybuilding guys, this couple that, they were just they have a business together, a cookie business, and they were just in the office just talking, and they were talking about marriage a little bit, and they were just like, and I think I've said this before, how sometimes it's 90-10 my way, it's 10-90 your way, it's 50-50 one day, it's 70-30 one day, and it's a never ending ratio or whatever, so at the end of the day, I just think you can't feel like that it's all on you all the time, you know what I mean? And that person has to wake up and smell the coffee if it's one of those deals where they feel like, man, I just feel like, I'm just holding all the weight, you know what I mean? And things of that nature. I think that's the best thing that you can do is to just drop what you're doing and just, okay, what can I do to help their situation? The other person, the other spouse or whatever, what can I do to help their situation? What can I do to, mitigate things? What can I do to let them know that we're in this together and I am constantly thinking about you and I am trying to serve you, in a way. And I think that's one of the deals that get lost in these relationships these days. Like it starts off good and then, a year in, 2 years, all of that stuff start to wear off. And, I mean, even us, like we don't really date like we should. Sometimes I know she feels like she does maybe most of the heavy lifting. A lot of times I feel like that. And sometimes it just feels like it's a never ending thing. But at the same time, that's just reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just reality. So, as they say, love conquers all. And if some people, they just hit that point to where it's just like, man, I think the love done ran out, or I think the like done ran out. You know what I'm saying? And they give in. So yeah, everybody's situation is different, but I think that,
and then like we've said before, of course, like, cause you hear people say divorce ain't an option, but it is. But that too, like you change and you grow, but you start to do that in different directions. And sometimes people just can't bring that back. You go this way and you having a hard time bringing it back in this way. Which, I mean, if there's no effort behind it, I don't feel like that's okay. But if there's effort behind it and it still just doesn't, y'all just can't make it come back this way, I mean, stuff happens. But, you know, your goal, I feel like when you're married is to change and grow as one.
Yes.
But, you know, like you said, everybody's situation is different because you want to feel like you changing and growing for the better.
Mm-hmm.
And your spouse is doing the same. So which would make y'all just stronger and more united. But
Yeah. One thing that has to be established too when you bring up that one thing is that now it's y'all's way. It's no longer how you used to do things. It's no longer how she used to do things. It's y'all way. And I mean, we even go through that to this day. And you know, it's always going to be a struggle, but at the same time too, you always got to remind yourself that it's y'all's way or no way. You know what I mean? And when I say y'all way, that doesn't mean that it's my way or it's her way. You know, it's now, like you said, it's y'all's way now. And like I said, it's constantly going to be a challenge, but at the same time, you know, this still is all about compromise. You know what I mean? And like I said, some people hit that point to where it's just like, I'm done compromising, or the person that I'm with is not compromising with me. You know, communication and compromise, they are ironically the demise of a lot of, you know, these relationships we see out.
Because of course you human, so you are out of habit. You revert back to what you're used to or what you're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to be aware of what it is and make that.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Because I mean, it's easy to, like I said, you revert back to your old ways, what you comfortable with and what you used to.
Yep. And also, when you force change, it's not a blind man can see it. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to. It's like me trying to have a 6-pack right now, like flexing as hard as I possibly can, trying to show you when it's just not there. You know, if you don't genuinely have it and you ain't genuinely doing it because you want to do it, then it's always going to show. You know, the genuineness behind it is always going to show. So energy is everything. If you ain't got the right energy, then you just doing it in vain, basically. Like, you just buying time, you know, and we all know that time don't wait for no man, and it always runs out for all of us. So it's like one of those deals, like, if you don't really want to do it, you might as well not do it. And y'all find you know what I'm saying? Something, like I said, a compromise, or you
common ground.
Yeah, basically, you know, agree to disagree, or, you know, just as long as it doesn't get to the worst thing, because we know what the worst thing is. And, you know, we put ourselves through a lot when it comes to this stuff. Like, I mean, this is supposed to be the most sacred thing in the world, and you know what I mean? Like,
it requires the most work.
Yeah, definitely requires the most work. But once people sign up and they see that it actually is work, it's like them people who start to hell, and I was one of them people. Like, you start jobs and you quit them, you start jobs and you quit them, you know, because you found out it was work. You know what I mean? Like, and it's backwards. You know what I mean? Once you put your name on the dotted line, once y'all, you know, exchange vows, if you will, that's when everything starts. And even us being together as long as we were, for, you know, dating for as long as we were, this definitely is different, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And things kind of stick a little more than they did before. Because before, you know, I was just like, you know, whatever. It is what it is. We ain't married, you know what I mean? But now it's kind of like, well, got no choice. We in this, you know, together.
No turning back.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, it's definitely, you want to be genuine with your change. You don't want to just be doing it just to do it, just to say, oh, well, I did what you told. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to see. It's so easy to, you know, and it just, you know, we're all guilty of it. It just makes things worse at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, because there's definitely a difference in coming to a compromise and making adjustments and forcing a change that you're not comfortable with. You know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So yeah, I mean, I guess my thing is just know the difference between the two. You know, like really think about what it is that you are doing. You know, like are you fully aware of the compromises that need to be made, and is that something within you to do? Or do you know what I mean? Like, or you feel like, oh, that's just not me. Which is things I feel like should be conversations that should be had before you even get married. Like relationship, that's when you're learning each other as well as learning yourself.
Yeah.
So that should be kind of ironed out and figured out in some form of fashion before you make it to marriage, if you make it to marriage.
Yeah, in most cases, it's like if you compare it to like money or something, if you get with somebody who's not good with money, the likelihood of them getting better is not likely. Now, you can have that faith. Sometimes, at the end of the day, you know, sometimes love conquers all, and you can't help who you love. But at the same time, too, a lot of, you know, marriages and relationships end due to finances. And you knew the person struggled with it before you tied the knot, and now you tied the knot, and now that becomes one of the biggest things that y'all go back and forth about is money, you know. So you gotta read the signs.
Yeah.
You know, and it's tougher when you're younger because, you know, you want to make things work and you know, you got all this pressure, but, you know, you definitely got to know what you want. You definitely got to know what you won't accept as well.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I think that's a perfect example because I see videos or hear stories like that all the time where people be like, oh, well, my spouse had X amount of debt before we got married, and we just, you know, we talked about it and discussed being better at managing money and this, that, and other. Now, if somebody got a ridiculous amount of debt that they're in just because they are not responsible, more than likely you need to get that figured out before you go and tie the knot, because now y'all are married and y'all's issues are now each other's issues.
Absolutely.
You know, it's some stuff that can be figured out along the way. Now, some stuff, look, if you know this person is a pathological liar, you marrying them ain't gonna fix that.
No, exactly.
You gotta see that change and that willingness to change before you go and commit your life to that person, because that's just gonna make life harder for you. Like, yes. That's y'all not going.
Yeah, money is one of the most minuscule things, but at the same time, I believe it's like one of the number one reasons why people get divorced. So just think about that. Like, people get divorced because of money, and it's one of the most easy fixable things. I've seen people pay off hundreds of thousands of debt, you know what I'm saying, or hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. But at the same time, like, it's hard to fix, like you said, a pathological liar or a cheater or a person that I don't know, they got a criminal record and they just can't stay out of trouble, you know.
Yeah. Or if you have, like,
it's a little harder
with the money. If you with somebody that's has a shopping addiction or whatever, like, you might be able to figure out how to work through that debt. But if they gonna put you right back in debt because they haven't fixed that shopping addiction, what are we doing? Because if you working all day, making good money, and I'm just steady spending it, that's not gonna work. There's no type of balance there.
Absolutely not.
I'm throwing away the money as quick as you bringing it in, and I'm not willing to change that habit. we ain't gonna never get nowhere.
Nowhere. And like I said, a lot of this stuff, even the hard stuff, is in a way easy fixes. It just, like I keep reiterating, compromise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to be willing to communicate first and compromise next. And that's something that a lot of people, they, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know what people do these days, but I tell you what, it seems to me a lot of people are jumping the broom and don't really know each other, you know, or refuse to. They're in denial, you know what I mean? Like
ignoring the
ignoring
signs
the
and
signs.
the flags and
Yeah.
whatever else you want to call it.
Yeah. So it is what it is, you know. I hope that people realize that, you know, some change is good, some change is not needed. Some change is just, it comes with time, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, you know, yeah, it takes others longer than most, but it's all in, are you really thinking that this is who someone is, or do you just think that they just refuse to be better, you know, not even change, but to just be better.
Yeah.
You know.
Because everybody is capable.
Absolutely.
It's just being willing to.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But it's like communication, like knowing and paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many things that people choose to ignore until it's really slapping you in the face.
Yeah. Yep.
And then most of the time, unfortunately, it be I don't want to say too late, but a little late in the game.
Yep.
Bless you.
My allergies are bothering me a little bit.
Look, mine too. All week.
It's like 90 degrees today.
And tomorrow's going to be 88, and Thursday is going to be 60.
I'm sorry, y'all, my nose irritated me, but we just had a cold front like a week ago. Like 32, freezing. So.
Good old West Texas.
Yeah, it's hard to breathe out this mother. Sometimes it is hard to breathe.
But yeah, y'all, like we said, we've been through it throughout the years, and that's the thing. Like it's always gonna be something different, especially if you are staying together. If you've been together for a long period of time, you know it's always gonna be a shift. Always, and it's gonna continue to be that shift because you're gonna hopefully continue to grow and change and evolve and and learn and because you are continuously learning yourself, which means your spouse is gonna have to continuously learn you.
Yep.
While they also learning themselves.
One thing I'll say too is you got to pay attention to people who are having success. You know what I mean? I think some folks they so stuck in their ways and they so stuck in what's going on outside of, or like you said, on social media and stuff, and they're not even realizing, like, well, you have people you can reach out to. You have people who are setting a good example. You just have to seek that, you know. Stop listening to your single friend or your you know, these people who are afraid to commit. Like, throughout the process of me, like, wanting to commit fully, like, I wasn't talking to people who, you know, at the club every night, you know, getting drunk, staying in the bar, going from girl to girl. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't really surrounding myself around married men either, but I knew that if it's something that I wanted to attain, like, I had to get some type of discipline in me. And I think it's just a lot of people paying attention to people who, you know, they haven't had success. You know what I mean? It's like a rich man trying to listen to a hobo about how to get richer. You know what I mean? Like, Yeah, you can get little tidbits here, and heck, maybe
Yeah.
maybe the dude was a stock market guru and just ended up being on the streets. Of course, you got those people who have that experience, but at the end of the day, you gotta talk to people who are in it for the long haul, who have done it, who have been through the struggles. Like I said, even if they've been married and divorced or stuff like that, just talk to people who really have been there. You know what I mean?
Who have experienced what it is that you
Exactly.
need knowledge in or want knowledge in.
But at the same time, it's kind of like a double-edged sword in a way. Like, you can't take too much advice, because one thing I've learned is not some, but all relationships are different in their own kind of way.
Yeah.
So, and some of us we click, some of us we don't, some of us make it, some of us don't. But, we all have some kind of experience. It's just, like I said, the people who really don't, who run away from commitment. I mean, you got people who get married and still ain't committed. You know what I mean? So
Ooh, yep.
That's more so what I mean. Like, know that you should listen to people who know how to be committed to something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it don't even have to be being married. Just anything. Somebody somebody who's been on a job for 20, 30 years. Like, I'd rather have a conversation with them than somebody who job hopping. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. So you definitely got to check your sources, know your sources, and reach out for help if you do need the help. Because, hey man, AI may be wanting to take over, but at the end of the day, we created AI. God created us, so we are still ultimately in control. So,
yeah. And just find people who you align with. Y'all got the same morals and values, because that's the base of anything. Like, if you find somebody where y'all align on those levels, that makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Because if your morals is way left and mine are way right, we ain't got no business hanging out together.
Absolutely. You want to take a quick break, and then maybe we can come back and, I don't know, talk about that Cheesecake Factory situation or something.
Oh, yeah.
You want to do that? We'll be right back with y'all. We're going to take a small break, and we're going to go over that cheesecake situation. Have you been seeing this Cheesecake Factory situation?
The girl with the date?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to not see it.
Yeah. Of course, because I be on TikTok. I've seen it all over TikTok. Now,
so did you see the actual video?
I don't know that I've seen the whole video, but I definitely saw the clip where she was sitting in the car and homeboy was outside and she was recording a conversation. Like, she wouldn't get out the car, but she's recording the conversation, her telling him, like, I can't believe you brought me to Cheesecake Factory. Like, and he like, why? What's wrong? And first of all, what's wrong with Cheesecake Factory? So you are too good for this man to take you to the Cheesecake Factory on your first date. Like, where is he supposed to take you? And you is not that bougie high class. You ain't that much better than him, or whatever the case. I don't know what she was thinking. I don't know I feel like she's one of them women that was going out on this date just for a free meal. So she was expecting or hoping for something top dollar.
Nah, she wasn't no woman expecting no free meal, because if she was, she would have appreciated that. She, in my eyes, that's her saying, I can get this whenever I want. So this ain't. She said, I DoorDash this on a regular.
But like, this man is not required First, and then you should have had that conversation before you agreed to go on this date. Like, hey, what did you have in mind that you wanted to go? So if you didn't communicate to this man what your standards were, don't be mad when he pull up at the Cheesecake Factory.
I was just looking at their menu too. I've only been a handful of times, and I'm not the biggest Cheesecake Factory guy because I like cheesecake. However, I don't like their cheesecake because it's just too much. You know, for me personally, it's just too much. I like my cheesecake a little bit soft. I like it. Yeah, I like the fork to go through it real easy. Just from my memory,
it's thick.
Yeah, it's thick. It you know, and it's the cheese. It's called the Cheesecake Factory for a reason because that's what they specialize in. However, the rest of their menu, which I haven't had everything on their menu because their menu, I don't know if you ever seen their menu. It's like B&J's or whatever.
They have a very broad menu. Broad. But I feel like that's why a man would take a woman there because you have so many options. You're going to find something that you like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I think, you know, of course, if we don't have one here, they got one in Lubbock, but I think in other places, major cities, I guess you can say, it's become more of a chain thing. And maybe that has something to do with it. By no means am I trying to defend this woman. This woman is
And I don't even
tripping.
think it's the way she went about it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like, she acted like a 3-year-old that refuses to leave the grocery store because their mama didn't buy them no toy. Like, I'm finna sit here on this floor and I'm not gonna get up and walk out this store because you not buying me no toy. This woman literally sat there in the car, would not open the door. She locked the door. This man is driving. He didn't got out to come around and open her door. She has locked the door. She's recording and she's talking to him through the window.
And the more and more I hear, because you telling me like the details of it, some be telling me like that this just a whole setup just to get people talking. And how easy would that be though? You know what I mean? Like, how easy?
She was a black woman.
Just a disclaimer though. Just a disclaimer. Guys, everything on the internet ain't real. I'm not saying this wasn't, but I'm just saying like that would be an easy setup.
And then a couple of people was pointing out the fact that she was a black woman and he was a different race. I don't know if he was like Mexican or Indian. Like I could see him, but not good enough to make out what his nationality was. So they was like, okay, was she just playing on him because more than likely she wouldn't have did this to no black man because it was disrespectful. You know what I mean? And like I said, I don't know why she felt like she couldn't get out the car and at least or roll the window down and have a decent conversation with this man.
Yeah.
Or why there wasn't have conversation before. But then they did, like, somebody took a poll of married women and single women. And how many married women felt like that was an acceptable day and how many single women felt like it was unacceptable. And a majority women that were married said that was an acceptable first date. The single women was like, no. Cause
oh my God.
Why?
This is so stupid that's the only thing that I could think of is that this is just rigged, like completely rigged.
And maybe it was. I hope it was because that's foolish.
Yeah, this is just stupidity at its finest. Like, I would say poor guy, but then that will be me giving in to this whole situation like everybody else kind of is. I don't believe it, first and foremost. But let me say, secondly, that if it was true and this was not set up and rigged, man, like, we got to stop this whole, I'm about to look at this dude. He took me to the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
Yes.
This is just beyond me.
Yep.
I'm finna lock this door. He ain't even finna get in, y'all. Man.
And to his car.
the amount of goofiness behind this is just incredible. You know what I'm saying? It is simply incredible.
And that's why I say I can see it being something real and her being like, oh yeah, I'm finna go viral for this. I'm finna blast this man.
Yeah.
Like, is that really what we've come to?
Oh my goodness.
Because that, to me, I felt bad for him. If this is something that's like a true scenario, I felt bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just simply say, okay, can we go somewhere else? Or be like, you know what? Just, can you take me home because I don't want to do this? Like, I'm like, you must, something, the ride to get there, you should have, something wasn't connecting. You know? Because you could at least just got out and be like, okay, I'll just have a drink. You don't like their food? Fine. Sit there and have a drink and let that man eat.
Yeah.
Or suggest when he pull up and you see that's where you at, don't even let him get out the car. Would you mind if we go somewhere else? Communicate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Listen to this. While the prices, this is the question is the Cheesecake Factory expensive? While the prices can vary depending on the location and the specific menu item, in general, the dishes at the Cheesecake Factory can be considered to be the pricier side for a casual dining restaurant. So it's funny how everything connects back to the $300 date thing.
Right?
When we went out the other night with some friends, y'all, no cap, we went out the other night with some friends to this new spot in Odessa, right? This is no exaggeration. I got 3 shots and a bucket of White Claws.
And I want to say it probably had 5 drinks in the bucket.
Yeah, five White Claws in the bucket. $80. Our friends, they got like some sushi because they made food in there too. It's a new spot, real nice. They got some sushi. They got something else, some chicken strips or something. They got like maybe like, let's say 8 shots total, and they got 2 buckets. Their tab was $350. So
ridiculous.
You know, with inflation and all of this kind of stuff, guys, like, is there really anything that's cheap right now? You understand? Like, besides staying at home, I mean, $300 at groceries is like, you know, some of y'all got Whole Foods in y'all city. Like, what is that? What is that? A week? A week and a half? So, you know, in these times, we should just be grateful in general. You know what I mean?
Yes, because this man didn't have to take you out to spend his money on you, period.
Absolutely. The only reason we did that in that episode was because things are high. You know what I mean? If this was 2000, I'd say 10 or 2008 or something like that, then yeah, like,
it'd be a different story.
Yeah, that's a bit much, but come on, guys. Everything is freaking high. Like, how easy can you spend for $500? How easy can you spend $1,000?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure we went up to the Cheesecake Factory and, you know, you stayed there, you watching football, you ordering shots, you doing this, you doing that.
Yep.
You'll run up a pretty nice tab. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So for people to just, I don't know, man. I don't know who raised these folks. That's another shirt. Hey, we got a lot of shirts coming out for y'all. Who raised you?
Yes,
you know
because why do you feel like this man is taking you out for the first time and he's supposed to be spending buku's amount of money on you for a meal? Like, what's wrong with sitting down and getting, the point is to sit down and get to know this person, right?
Absolutely.
Where does it matter where you're, yes, it matters, but it shouldn't be that deep. Like, he didn't pull up to McDonald's, not that there's anything wrong with that, but he didn't pull up to McDonald's when he could have did that. But especially, my thing is, if you did not communicate some places you would like to go, give this man some options as to what you may like. I know a lot of women be like, well, I want him to pick and I want to see him be romantic. Not if you gonna be mad at where he pull up at.
Another thing too, just to maybe give a little context that maybe we didn't know, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't happen. But what if what if she told him that she absolutely hated the Cheesecake Factory? You know what I mean? I don't know if the girl came out and like, was she actually saying this ain't good enough in the video?
Basically, yeah. She was like, this man really brought me to the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay. See, and I'd have to watch the video to actually see, like,
and
okay,
I don't know,
was she actually hinting towards like this is just unacceptable, or is it maybe some leeway that she done told this man, maybe I had a food allergy, maybe, and I'm not trying to make no excuse for this woman, but
I'm pretty sure
just
didn't go that
saying,
deep.
you know what I'm saying? What if she straight up told him, like, I don't do McDonald's, I don't do Cheesecake Factory, I used to work there. You know what I mean? Like,
and like I said, I didn't see.
That's why I be thinking a lot of this stuff be fake, y'all.
I didn't see the whole clip, and it's been some time since I saw that clip that I saw. But the way she went about it too was, no, that's not okay.
Yeah,
especially as an adult, like that's no. Because if I was him, I'd be like, you know what, I'm finna get in the car and take you home. I'm not, and this is done. I'm finna block you. Don't text me. Don't call me. No nothing. Yeah. Which she may have did the same thing because she was so, offended that he pulled up at the Cheesecake Factory.
Let me see. Oh, I got this Bluetooth connected. Hold up.
But I don't know.
She looked bougie and stank.
She
looked like she got a stank attitude.
And he was being nice.
Okay. Yeah, she definitely.
What's the problem with that?
That looks
like this.
That looks stank. Oh. Well, now I guess that takes all that context out of the picture.
See, that's not, and that ain't the clip I seen. But
let's talk about it.
You expect a man to go all out on the first date. Is that right? I mean, you're supposed to. Look at,
bro, this is. Why is y'all buying into this crap? This is planned out completely. This is worse acting than Tubi. Like, y'all got to stop with this, y'all.
Cherish her, treat her well.
And they don't even look like they would be together,
But that's why they was saying
like y'all don't match at all.
But that's why I'm saying she just wanted a good free meal. That's why she said yes to him taking her out. She don't really want to seriously date him because she look like this. She feel like I look this good.
Yeah.
She looking for somebody to look like Shamar Moore or somebody.
I think I've seen enough, but at the same time too, like I said, I vote rigged. I also vote, she needs some help.
Yeah.
She needs some real life help.
Cause I feel like if we was to plan a date night and you gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna surprise you. Mm-hmm. And I didn't got dressed up thinking we finna just have like a real nice date night. I wouldn't expect you to pull up at McDonald's. But we've you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and like McDonald's, that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
now we just out and about and we stop there.
Yeah, you're going to have lunch or something.
Yeah.
But even then, still, you don't do that. You don't do that. But Cheesecake Factory,
I wouldn't be upset about that.
We're not finna do that. We're not finna do that.
I would not be upset if he was like, okay, we going to the Cheesecake Factory. Like, okay. But
let's see, worst restaurants for a first date. Worst places for a first date. Applebee's, Chili's, Olive Garden, Buffalo Wild Wings, Red Lobster, and the Cheesecake Factory.
What? See?
But this was published October 29th, 2023, so they gassing right now.
Yeah.
They gassing off of this shit.
Now, okay, wait. Say that list again.
Hold on.
I know you said Applebee's,
Yeah,
Chili's.
Chili's. Okay, here's an extended list. Number one, I don't know if this. See, they putting cheesecake like bro. They got Cheesecake Factory number 1 and Waffle House number 27. Like,
Cause you better not take me to no Waffle.
Hopefully this ain't nothing in order, but y'all gotta stop with this.
Now that I'm gonna draw the line right there. Don't you pull up at no Waffle House? But I'm not gonna be disrespectful about it. I'm like, would you mind if we go somewhere else? It ain't gotta be nowhere expensive, but would you mind if we go somewhere else?
So you got, and I don't know if this is in order, but they have Cheesecake number 1, Cheesecake Factory number 1, and it goes down from there. Number 1, Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, the movies, your house, any fast food chain, Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, Red Lobster, a buffet, IHOP, Denny's, the gym, church, Starbucks, coffee dates, ice cream dates, family functions, movie night, Netflix, Hulu, etc. Somewhere that requires a long drive, bowling, nightclubs, hookah bar, a bar for just drinks, Waffle House, sports event. Now, before you say anything, I'm going to just say, basically they telling you your only option is to take a woman out on a $300 date because that's the only thing outside of this that ain't on there, obviously. Now, that's one thing that we did not say, that it's not okay to go on anything other than a $300 date.
And I don't think that's not a good list if you ask me. Because it also depends on
the person.
It depends on the person. Everybody's not going on a dinner date. Sometimes people go on a lunch. Yes. Like the ice cream date. I think that's a great date. If it's going to be 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And y'all just want to meet up to talk and get to know each other a little bit better.
The situation already ate.
Yeah. Like so many things go into it. Because not every woman wants to go on a dinner date for the first date.
Yeah. Like
I get not doing the sports bars and stuff because maybe you really trying to get to know this person. You can't have no good conversation if it's loud. You know, because yes, you're gonna factor in the environment.
That would be my number one thing. Somewhere where it's loud.
Yeah, like don't
because
take
there's
me.
no way for y'all to get intimate as far as intimate conversation.
Yeah,
get to know each other. That would be my number one place not to take a woman on the first date.
Because there's no good interaction because y'all screaming over each other.
Yes, and we old. That same spot that we went to, them youngsters got to playing that music, y'all, and I ain't never been in a place where I just couldn't. What were we saying? You can't hear yourself think.
No.
It was terrible. Like
I don't think I've ever been so ready to go.
Yes. As soon as that music started playing, they turned the game off, that music started playing. Oh my goodness.
Like when we left, our ears were ringing.
Yes.
And people in there just, them young ones just in there like it's just a regular old night. I'm like, no.
It was horrible.
Mm-mm.
But you know, if she already tripping on where you took her, or he already tripping on where you took him, it's throw the flag.
Yeah.
Throw the flag on the play.
On to the next.
Turnover on downs.
Don't be too picky.
Nah.
Don't be too picky, because look, you gonna have a hard time finding your person. If that's
it also depends on your age. Kind of. You know what I'm saying? I don't recommend going to Mastro's or Capitol Grill, places like that when you 21 in college. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, take a girl out to Chipotle. Like, shoot, she just gonna be happy you took her out to get something to eat other than cafeteria food. I mean, or dorm room food or whatever. You know, like. So it's a lot of factors that go into this. You know, but at the same time too, I'm gonna keep reiterating, ain't nowhere cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nowhere cheap. So,
because if we go to Chipotle, that's what for both of us.
Chipotle for two people is like $30-$40 easy. You know what I mean? That's for a freaking bowl of, you know, some stuff you could have whipped up at the house. You know what I mean? Like,
y'all better get with the program.
Ain't nothing cheap.
No.
Man, I go to Rose's and spend $30 on myself for some
baby
jack
burritos.
butt freaking Tex-Mex for 2 pieces of beef fajita and one tortilla this big. You know what I mean? So
For real.
I'm just saying, man, y'all be grateful out there now. Now, don't be great. Look, you can't take it with you, so you need to treat yourself every now and then. But don't be no ungrateful.
No.
You understand? Don't be ungrateful now.
If somebody willing to spend their hard-earned money on you, what are you complaining about? Like, for real. Because, look, nowadays, you got to work hard for your money. You better not be mad that I took you to Cheesecake Factory and I'm finna pull out my wallet.
Hey, but let me tell you something though, and I'm gonna end the show with this. At the end of the day, women like her, men like her, they're never gonna go away. You know why? Because it's gonna be some simp that come behind, like, you know what? He wouldn't do it, so I will. And that's the moral of that story. So whether it was true or not, we gonna go with it was true. Guess what? Some simp took her somewhere better than Cheesecake Factory. I guarantee it. Maybe more than one.
And good luck with that relationship, because it's never gonna end.
And she didn't look like no spring chicken, ma. So you better start, I don't know, letting some folks take you to Cheesecake Factory, because it don't look like you getting no younger, Miss Beautified.
I look like this.
And it's funny too, you know, it's funny how people like that. She wasn't a bad looking woman, but it's like
your attitude
is stank, so it make you look stank. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
It ain't, you could be the most beautiful woman in the world or the most, you know, handsome guy in the world. Your attitude is stank. Man, you go from a 10 to a 2. Just like that.
Real quick.
And you wasn't nothing but probably a 7. So you in the negatives, woman. With that stank attitude.
Your attitude will ruin everything.
So
everything.
Fix it, Jesus. That's all I'll say. Fix her mind, fix her spirit, all of that. Because she ain't right.
At all.
She ain't right.
Don't be disrespecting people like that. That's just don't do that.
Yep.
Don't do that. That's just so unnecessary.
It was probably some dude, they probably found his social media handle and he probably had an inbox full of women like, please take me to Cheesecake Factory.
Yes. Look, I'll
take you to Cheesecake Factory. You know what I'm saying?
Shoot. Because maybe he gonna take you to Cheesecake Factory today. He might have had plans to take you to some bougie restaurant on the second day. You done messed up your chances. That man could have been ready to pay all your bills. And you done messed it up. She
said, look at how good I look. And you right. Some people just frugal. Like, that dude could have been a freaking multimillionaire.
Yeah.
And you don't know it. Because you ignorant.
Be careful how you treat people. Because, look, you could have just messed up your own blessing right there.
Just like that. We're going to wrap it up there. We appreciate y'all watching. Please like and subscribe. Please hit the bell for notifications, all that good stuff. Please comment, as the wife said. We thank y'all for watching. Thank you for watching Fuller's Corner Podcast, where experience is given, not advice. The best advice comes from experience. Y'all have a good rest of the Tuesday, and we will see y'all in the next one.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Bye.